So we're live here, but the actual conversation won't start until 4 o'clock. I'm going to flip screens for a minute to see how this is being presented at this site. Okay. Okay, so anybody coming in should be able to access it from the PortsmouthCityWatch.org landing page in YouTube. 10 minutes till official start time. Five minutes till start time. Welcome. The discussion will start in 5 more minutes, 4 more minutes, counting down. Good to have you here. The chat is active if you want to send a greeting, ask a question. More than welcome to do so. Two minutes. One minute. Okay, 4 o'clock. I'm going to kick off this discussion. At the moment, it's a monologue, but it will be archived and available through the PortsmouthCityWatch.org website and this YouTube channel, also branded PortsmouthCityWatch.org. On Tuesday, April 28th, the Portsmouth City Council will be holding its second ever virtual meeting. The present crisis in which we find ourselves necessitates changes to the way we do business generally and public business specifically. The Attorney General of Virginia, Mark Herring, issued a letter in response to a member of the General Assembly's inquiry into how we go about doing business when we can't safely get together in person. That letter is referenced in the Facebook invitation to this particular event. If you visit that link and scroll to page 3, I'm going to summarize the guidance that General Herring provided. Essentially, he pointed out 3 requirements that need to be satisfied to conduct meetings, virtual meetings, that are in conformance to the code. Item A of that threefold requirement is the governor shall have declared a state of emergency in accordance with Title 44-146.17B, point 17, sorry. B, the catastrophic nature of the declared emergency makes it impractical or unsafe to assemble a quorum in a single location. And C, the purpose of the meeting is to address the emergency. A and B are established. Those are the conditions under which the entire Commonwealth is operating now. The governor has declared the emergency, and the nature of that emergency, the COVID-19 pandemic, is what makes it impractical or unsafe to assemble a quorum in a single location. But item C, we would dispute in terms of the meeting that Portsmouth City Council contemplates. If you reference the agenda that was also linked in the letter of invitation, there are 4 public hearing items on this coming Tuesday. One is the annual action plan for the Community Development Block Grant funding that the city receives every year from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. And the next 3 items are a public hearing to consider the annual operating budget for fiscal year 2021, a public hearing on the recommended 2021 to 2025 capital improvement program, and lastly, the public hearing on proposed changes to rates and levies for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021. These are all items of some importance to the city of Portsmouth and certainly become more critical as we approach the end of the fiscal year. But the Portsmouth City Council has until midnight on June 30th to deal with those 3 items. The governor's quarantine order, or his shelter at home order, is in effect until June 10th. So there are about 6 weeks during which conceivably the city council could address the four public hearing items previously referenced and still meet the deadline. Furthermore, to be discussing the budget as it was presented on March 24th, as though nothing had changed between that time and the scheduled virtual meeting, is to perpetrate a fraud on the public. We are well aware that shortly after City Manager Patton gave her presentation, the world turned upside down. The governor of Virginia declared a state of emergency. He ordered over a succession of several days, he ordered certain types of businesses to close, others to restrict their activities, set standards for gatherings, no gatherings of more than 10 people, social distancing guidelines, maintaining at least 6 feet of separation from yourself to others. And there have been subsequent changes, recommendations for the use of masks in public places, and so on. The logical consequences of this has been a shuttering of many businesses, many workplaces. The Virginian Pilot reported today that 500,000 Virginians have filed claims for unemployment since the middle of March. Nationally, over 27 million new claims for unemployment have occurred in the last 4 weeks, and the numbers continue to increase. So the reduction of economic activity has had a dramatic effect on how we live and how we work. Some people can work from home, but many others cannot. Some people qualify for unemployment benefits. The federal government expanded the qualifications for receiving payments, but many others do not. People are drawing on their personal savings to meet their household needs. And we have a growing number of cases, although not dramatically growing at this point in time, but there are more people who are showing up as infected with COVID-19. So how does this change the budget that was presented on the 24th of March? Well, certain assumptions about how much money there will be available in the city treasury at the end of the current fiscal year affect how much money the city can draw from reserves to fund next year's budgets. Additionally, collections of taxes will undoubtedly be affected by the number of people who cannot go to work and are living on reduced uh, on reduced levels of income because of the shutdown of many businesses in the Commonwealth and across the nation. So our projections of revenue are useless right now. They're dramatically overstated. And to ask for people to give input on the budget as distributed is a charade. What really needs to happen, where the virtual meetings need to occur, is for City Council to have virtual public work sessions whereby they and the public can hear from the people with expertise within our city about how the environment is changing and how that will change our budget projections. Additionally, the school system, one of our major partners in the city and a significant expense line item in the city budget, needs to review their request to the city in light of the circumstances of this pandemic. One area in which I see a clear need for action by the school board and the school administration is the development of a recovery plan for when the schools can reopen. Just speaking as a concerned citizen and assuming that the shelter in place restrictions and the gathering restrictions and in the not too distant future, perhaps in the June, July timeframe, I would see it advantageous to reopen schools ahead of the post-Labor Day normal opening for the new school term. There are a lot of students who are at home, and the actual instruction that's going on in their in-home setting is likely not up to the standard that they would have had in the classroom. So we should have a recovery strategy in place to enable the school system to assess where the students are and implement a remediation program to offset the time that has been lost from the classroom. And that should happen before, as I said, the beginning of the usual school term in September. And that will require funding in the fiscal 2021 budget. Nothing on this scale was contemplated when they put together their request. So there's a lot of work to be done. And a virtual meeting on this budget will not address it, nor do I think a virtual meeting for public hearing type items will be adequate to enable the citizenry of Portsmouth to express their opinions and to marshal the support that is often a part of a in the flesh public hearing, because people communicate beforehand and there are often often demonstrations of support when people speak about a public hearing, to emphasize to the decision makers that the ideas being expressed are not those of just one person, but many others in the community. That's something that will not come through in a virtual meeting. So for these reasons, I believe that if City Council is to meet this coming Tuesday, they need to pare down their agenda to those items that meet the criteria presented by our Attorney General and relegate those items that are not directly and imminently applicable to the current emergency situation for a later date. I appreciate your attention, and I look forward to hearing from you all through PortsmouthCityWatch.org, the Facebook site, and the website. Additionally, you can communicate directly with us by email to pcw237@cox.net. Please continue to take all responsible measures for protecting your health and safety. And please inform yourselves through the media, social, traditional, and otherwise, about how things are proceeding in our beloved city of Portsmouth. Thank you all.